ABC, it's Ron. Thanks for stopping by. Well, I'm doing a special midweek video, and I don't usually do that, but I got a surprise vacation. So last Friday, my boss emailed me and said, Ron, you got 2 weeks vacation left in the year, and you need to knock it out this month or you're going to lose it. So what's going on is I'm in a transition period where I'm going from one company to another company, employer. So it's going to be the same job, just a different employer. So this has been kind of a pain in the butt to go through, but at least I still have a job. So I got like 16 straight days off. So it's kind of nice, but that means I'm going to have to go a long stretch with no vacation time, probably February. And I'll still get my holidays and all that, but no vacation time. So I'm just making the best of it. 16 straight days off is pretty nice though. So anyway, I'm going to go to a concert during this vacation time. And I'm going to go see Jeff Beck. And isn't that a beautiful looking ticket? I mean, I've seen some hideous looking tickets, but that one is beautiful. So yeah, I'm going to see Jeff this Saturday, and it's going to be at the Celebrity Theater here in Phoenix. And it's a really cool smaller venue. It's like this round auditorium, and there's a stage right in the center of the audience, and it slowly rotates. And it will rotate for about 20 minutes one way, and it'll rotate the other way for another 20 minutes, and it keeps going back and forth about every 20 minutes. Very cool because you get to see every angle of the band. And it doesn't go like super slow, it just goes at the right speed, you know? So, wow, it's a great place to see a concert, and it's been around since the 60s. And there aren't many stages that rotate in the US from what I understand. We're very lucky to have that here. So I'm pretty stoked about it because that guy is still on top of his game. I was checking some videos out online. Jeff Beck, man, that guy is still amazing. So I'm pretty excited about it. Okay, what is on the turntable? Fat. And this is their first album from 1970. And they were out of Massachusetts, East Coast band. And this is their first LP. I think they had 3 albums. This is their first one, probably their best. And yeah, this is a really good, solid album. It's got this weird sticker on the back here. And I think that was originally on the shrink wrap, and then the original owner peeled it off and stuck it on the back of the cover. So that's kind of unusual to see that. But yeah, that's a cool album. I'm glad I got that. Here's another one I got along with it, and it's Morning. This is another one from 1970. And this is just a really fine, solid album. It's on the Vault label, which was a West Coast label. And I happened to get a rare white label promo copy of it. This album didn't sell when it was initially released in '70, but even though it got critically acclaimed reviews, it just didn't sell very well. So to find a copy, it's not that easy. I'm sure you can pick them up online. But yeah, the white label promos, that's going to be a different matter. Those are pretty rare, I'm sure. So excellent album. Kind of it's got sort of a country rock sound in the style of Poco on some of the tracks, and then some of the tracks have more of a psych sound. Just real gentle psych ballads, pop psych ballads. And there's one song that ends side 1, Sleepy Eyes. That's the standout. And then on side 2 they do a little bit more of that country thing, and they go into a there's another psych tune, and they're going sort of a progressive jam too. So the combination of all that, it really works. Very likable, appealing album. And they were based in California. Okay, here's a reissue that just came out, The Action, and they were a UK mod band. This is a Spanish pressing, Gershon label. And let me get the hype strip. Yeah, this is demos that never got out until the 90s. So this is like a reissue of an older 90s album, but it's been remastered, so I'm sure it sounds a lot better. And this is this really good, solid album. It didn't blow me away. You know, it's nothing really amazing like The Creation or John's Children, but check that metallic embossed title, that's real nice. Yeah, but this is a good album, and I do recommend it. Okay, then I got this one, and it's a soundtrack to a movie from 1967, Mondo Hollywood. This is a UK reissue, and I got it out of the discount bin for half price. And I knew it wasn't that great of an album, but there was a few tracks on here that I wanted, so I decided to go ahead and get it. It's on the Real Time label, 180 gram vinyl, and it came out in 2012. It's got 2 tracks by the Mugwump Establishment. They were an LA garage band, and they were also known as the Mugwumps, not to be confused with the Mama Cass Elliott Mugwumps. That's why they changed their name to the Mugwump Establishment. And there's also a Bobby Jameson track on here that I think you can only get on this soundtrack. It's called Vietnam, and it's kind of like a Bo Diddley rocker. And in fact, I read that Bobby Jameson makes an appearance in this movie. I've never seen it, but I think it's on YouTube. And he's on there with his girlfriend, Gail. And Gail would later on become Gail Zappa, Frank Zappa's wife. So that was very interesting to read. So, yeah, nothing great, but for those few tracks, it's cool. Then I got a few upgrades. I upgraded my Mono Flowers, Rolling Stones, US copy. First pressing on the maroon label. Later, a short time later, would come out on the red label. And then I got the second Captain Beefheart, strictly personal. And I made a nice upgrade on this one. And have you ever seen that movie, the sci-fi movie from the 50s, The Man from Planet X? That's him right there. But yeah, this album is good. I like it. It gets knocked around, but I like it. And Frank Zappa really liked it. I read a review online that he wrote about it, and he really admired this album. It's very psychedelic, but in a very unusual way. Just in a very far out, bluesy way, and it's the musical rhythms are what makes it pretty trippy. The producer added sound effects, phasing, and that kind of stuff behind the band's back, and it gets kind of knocked because of that, but I think some of it works. I don't think the heartbeat works. I think the heartbeat was, you know, useless. But the phasing is pretty cool. On the drums, I thought that was alright. Okay, and the next one I got was an upgrade, was Big Brother and the Holding Company, Cheap Thrills. And I got a nice upgrade on this one. So glad about that. That's on the original 2i label. Then I pulled this one out of the bargain bin for 99 cents, and I couldn't believe it was even in there. But it had a 99-cent sticker on it, you know, bold as day. And it's in excellent condition. It's the First Family, Music in a Doll's House, UK pressing. Second pressing from 1970 on the Reprise label. The only thing that was wrong with it is the glue had dried out along the top and the cover had separated. It wasn't split, it just needed to be re-glued, which I did, and it's fine. This sounded really good too. That's like, for that pressing, that's like a $15 album. And I got it for 99 cents. So it's stuff like that, man, that it helps to justify prices on other things that maybe you're not comfortable with paying. Okay, then I got the second album by the band Trapeze. Killer UK hard rock. It's Medusa. And this is a first pressing from the US. And it's on the original Threshold white label. If you have it on the blue label, it's a later pressing. It's a VG Plus copy, but it played fine, so I'm just, you know, happy to finally get that album. Then I got another album by a British band I think you will know, and it's the Beatles, Yesterday and Today. And look at this beautiful white cover, just white as can be. And this is a 1969 lime green pressing, and it is a record club edition. See those stripes on the cover? That's designated for a record club, and it has the record club catalog number, which is very similar to the regular commercial pressings, but it has an ST8 rather than on the other ones it won't have the 8. So the 8 is the indicator. Pretty nice copy, and the cool thing about this, it is totally true stereo. The regular stock copies of this, there's 3 songs on this album that are rechanneled stereo. They're John Lennon songs. They're I'm Only Sleeping, Dr. Robert, and Your Bird Can Sing. Even though this album is a compilation, it's not a real Beatles album, I've always liked this album a lot. So I'm glad to own that. Okay, then I got an upgrade on Grand Funk. We're an American band. I got an original copy, first pressing. The other copy I had was a much later pressing. So I got that, and it had a black inner sleeve. And I got the little bonus inside that I'm real thrilled over, because these are not around really, and it's the original sticker sheet, complete sticker sheet unused. And these are usually gone, or the stickers will actually be on the album cover. I've seen that before too. Somebody had put them on the album cover. And this is the original 1973. It's hard to believe this album's 45 years old. This is the original 1973 vinyl. So if you could find this on the, it's kind of a, looks like tortoise shell, sort of a brown and black vinyl. Those are really hard to find, and you got something special there. Don't get rid of it. In fact, let me know if you have a copy, because I'd like to verify it for sure that those are out there. I think that they are. I do have a 45 from that album that is in that style, but I heard the album, some of the albums got out that way too. Okay, we're getting there. Here's a reunion album for Moby Grape. They reunited in 1989. The original 5 members got back together. And this is Legendary Grape instead of Moby Grape. They couldn't use the name Moby Grape because of a legal dispute that was going on. So they had to settle for Legendary Grape. They did all these sessions, they did one session in one day, and it was all recorded live in the album, live in the studio, and it's on the Del Val label. I think this is a domestic U.S. pressing. It came out in 2003. The original release of this material was on a cassette, 500 copies, come out in 90. And so that's an instant collector's item right there. And then later, years later, it came out on a compact disc with added bonus material. So I think what that is, that's the first time on vinyl. And it may be the original cassette lineup of tracks. I don't know. But I would imagine that it is. And this is Skip Spence, and he was there, but he doesn't actually perform. He had a lot of mental problems and drug and alcohol issues. He was schizophrenic, and he was seriously in a bad way. So he just couldn't perform. So they brought in another guitarist to cover for him. But yeah, it's too bad about him. And this guy right here in the center, that is Don Stevenson. And he was the guy that's on the first album cover where he's flipping the bird on the washboard. And if you look, he's got his hand down behind Bob Mosley's head. And he's flipping a bird. And no, I'm lying. He's not flipping a bird. Oh, he could be flipping a bird and we don't know it. But yeah, that's Bob Mosley there. And he had bouts of schizophrenia too. After this album was recorded, he was homeless for 5 years. And the band had to get his act back together, for him. So, wow. Those are hard luck stories, let me tell you. Okay, I've got one more album to show. Well, let me show a couple of quick 45s. I got the Electress, and this is really cool garage rock girl band. And it's hyped as being from the 60s in the liner notes, but it's not. It's a more modern band. And I think they're European. This is an Austrian pressing, limited edition of 500 numbered copies. And 4 tracks, and this is just really raw, sonics fueled garage, over-modulated, in the red sound, and just really cool. You can get these on Discogs for like about $10 ship, something like that. And it's on red vinyl. It's on, what label? Bachelor Records. Okay, then I got another 45, and it's a local Phoenix band, the Freaks of Nature. And this is just really cool, pure 60s garage punk. And this is out on a local label, Phoenix. It's on a related black vinyl. So yeah, if you want to listen to this, those tracks are posted online. So the song, you have to search the songs out individually. Freaks of Nature, Want Me, and Now You Say We're Through. And when I saw them last December, I pulled the set list off the stage. The first 2 songs that they did were those songs. Okay, I got one more album to show, and it's a Neil Young bootleg, and it's a 70s, original 70s pressing. Neil Young, Old Man's Fancy, and pretty nice cover there. And that's Neil's first son, Zeke. So it's live at the LA Forum November 4th, 1976. And then there's a couple of bonus songs at the end of the album that were recorded at a different concert. And it's 2 tracks from live at the Santa Monica Civic, August 28th, 1976. And a VC member by the name of Lisa told me she went to that show. So there's 2 songs from that concert on this bootleg. I don't think the whole concert from that show ever got out. In fact, I will go into that to a little bit later. But yeah, it's Neil and Firefall. Firefall opened up for Neil, as well as Spirit. And it's Neil with Firefall doing Just Like Tom Thumb's Blues. And then the Spirit track is, they did Like a Rolling Stone, another Dylan song. And Randy California sings that one. They almost get through the whole song, and then you hear this huge round of applause. And it's Neil walking out on stage. And then you'll hear him kind of act like he wants to join in. And then you hear him, and then all of a sudden Randy stops singing. And I think he walked over to Neil and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" Because Randy didn't know he was going to come out. I guess one of the band members in Spirit had invited him out, but they didn't tell Randy about it. So it was a total surprise to Randy, and he didn't like the idea of it, I don't think. So from that point on, Neil didn't sing anymore. And Randy kind of finished the song up, you know, probably less than a minute. You know, they were done. And at the end of the song, you hear Neil Young, and then that's it. So yeah, so what I will do is at the end of this video, I will play that Neil Young and Firefall recording for Lisa, not Liz. Okay, and this is the label. It's on a slip disc, but that bootleg actually came out on several different labels. This is not the original label that it came out on, but it's one of the rarer ones from what I understand. So, here's my guide to Neil Young bootlegs. It's a UK book, and it came out in the 90s. This is just an essential book, and it's just all kinds of information, bootleg labels, a little history about those, and vinyl and CDs and different variations, track listings. It does not go into sound quality. It does not get into that deep of information, but it's pretty good, and it's everything's kind of thrown in there, no particular order too much. Some of it's in some sort of an order, but it's a loose order. And on the back, it's got a listing of the names of all the boots, but they don't give the pages to where to find them. So that's the only drawback about this book. And then this is another Neil bootleg. It's called Ghosts on the Road, and this is another essential book out of the UK. And this came out in the 90s as well. It's all Neil Young concerts from Buffalo Springfield all the way up through 1995. It drops off at 95. And it's got information about the concerts. I mean, it's just got everything. It's got set lists. Pretty cool. So that one Santa Monica Civic show that Lisa went to. This book does not give the set list for that. So evidently there's no tapes around to get the songs from. But those two Bob Dylan covers that I talked about, they're out there. So yeah, that's what I will do, is I will play that Just Like Tom Thumb's Blues for Lisa. And I hope she, I know she will enjoy that. So that's going to be it for this video, and maybe I'll get another one out during my vacation. So I got a bunch of 45s to show, so probably do that maybe next week. So everybody take care, and see you then. Bye.
Sweet Melinda, a peasant's call her a goddess of gloom. She speaks forth English as she invites you onto her room. And you're so kind, so gentle, not to go to her too soon. But she steals your voice and leaves you howling. It's either fortune or fame.